How's it going, everyone? Bass here. Happy Friday to everyone watching. So we have some new Packers news today. Just came out a little bit ago with the rookies reporting to training camp today on the 22nd. The Packers have officially placed 9 players on the physically unable to perform list. That list includes Christian Watson, Robert Tunyan, Elton Jenkins, Mason Crosby, Dean Lowry, Kylan Hill, Huadi Putatu, Randy Ramsey, and Patrick Taylor. Now, there definitely are some names on that list to cause concern, but do not be alarmed just yet. Even though they were just added to the PUP now, that doesn't mean they have to miss any regular season time. As if they were to add them to the PUP before the regular season start, then they would miss at least 4 regular season games. That's not what this is right now. They can be taken off this list at any time through training camp, through preseason. This just allows them to place them on the actual PUP for the season start if need be. Now, a positive note on this list is we do not see David Bakhtiari part of it. That's a breath of fresh air, but veterans don't report until Tuesday, so technically he could still be added to this list, but let's hope that's not the case. You see other veterans on here like Mason Crosby and Dean Lowry, so I think if they were going to add them, they would have just added Bakhtiari to begin with. So now let's run down the list and go over each player. Now, obviously, the most surprising here is Christian Watson. We did not expect him to be on this list. We did not expect him to have any injury. Don't know what the injury is. It hasn't really been specified to this point. Now, this just means he won't be here to start the beginning of training camp, or he won't be padded up, he won't be practicing. But that doesn't mean he's not going to come into training camp at any point and play and practice and play in the preseason games. But it is quite concerning to see him on this list because he needs all the snaps he can get to get on the same page, get on the same rapport as Aaron Rodgers. All these young wide receivers need that. This whole entire wide receiver room just needs as many snaps as possible with this offense with Aaron Rodgers. So it is certainly concerning to see him on this list. I'm hoping it's just precautionary. It's something he's getting cleaned up, and he will be back soon. If I get any more news on the situation, of course, you'll find it here right on this channel. Next on this list is Robert Tunyan, and this is disappointing as well because we saw him running around at tight end U a couple weeks ago, and he looked good. And my hope here was he would get into training camp from the start. Now, again, this doesn't mean he won't get into training camp, but it still is a little disappointing to see him starting on the PUP. I thought Robert Tunyan was kind of ready to go, but obviously not. So hopefully he will get in, get some preseason time, get some training camp time, and be ready for week 1. The third player on this list, Elton Jenkins. This is no surprise here. I expect him to end up on the actual PUP list, which you will miss the first 4 games of the NFL season. So really no surprise here. And then next we have Mason Crosby, who had kind of an injury issue earlier this year. So maybe that flared back up. He is getting up there in age. I believe he's 37 years old. So that's something to worry about. I mean, we signed another kicker in Gabe Burkich, so he's going to get kicking snaps to start this training camp. So hopefully Mason Crosby can return soon as well. Then we have Dean Lowry on this list, who was actually part of the rehab group earlier in the offseason. So I guess I'm not technically surprised he's here. Then we have Kylan Hill, another player who tore his ACL last year. Kind of expected him to start on the PUP here. Who knows if he'll be ready to go week 1. He did look really good in all the training clips I did see, so this might just be precautionary. And then the last 3 players, Huadi Putatu, Randy Ramsey, and Patrick Taylor, all starting on the PUP. Patrick Taylor, I mean, he's a player that could end up being the 4th running back, even the 3rd running back on this team. He was very promising last year, depending on when Kylan Hill's ready to go. He's also on this list, but this makes it very interesting for players like Tyler Goodson and B.J. Baylor to possibly steal that 4th running back spot. And the same thing for Randy Ramsey. I mean, there's a whole open back end of the edge room with the 4th and 5th guy, really. Outside of Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith, and Kingsley Enagbare, there's really no locks. We have John Garvin, Tipa Naliai, and Randy Ramsey. But if he's starting on the PUP and doesn't get much time in training camp and preseason, he's not going to make this roster. But overall, this list, I mean, there's definitely guys I expected to be on here, and there's definitely a couple that I did not expect to be on here. Obviously, the biggest one is Christian Watson, so that's something we're going to have to monitor over the next coming weeks. And also, there is a couple more roster moves they made today. The Packers have also waived tight end Eli Wolf today after signing Sal Cannelli yesterday. I guess they just didn't see the need to have 9 tight ends and wanted to waive him today. So look for the Packers to potentially sign a guy in the next couple of days. And they've also placed the following players on the non-football injury list: tackle Rasheed Walker, tackle Caleb Jones, and linebacker Khalif Bryce. So the fact that we have 2 tackles on the NFI list as well as Elton Jenkins on the PUP, I'd assume the Packers would sign a tackle in the next coming days. But that's all I have for the news today. If you are new here and want more Packers news, analysis, and updates with training camp right around the corner, please consider going down, clicking the subscribe button, as well as leaving a like on the video. But that about does it. I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Pack Go.